Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about the power of a hug.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about the power of a hug. So again, probably this entire week will depend on how it goes or what opportunities arise around the kids, but something I experienced over the holiday last week was the innocence of a child and the power of a hug. So as you all know, I don't know jack about parenting, but I do have two boys and I'm winging it as best I can. But the little one, my older one's a little shy. He gets around people. Dad's kind of I'm one of those introvert extroverts, I call myself. I'm the guy who doesn't mind being in an environment with a lot of people. I can mingle and talk to just about anybody. And my wife is more of an introvert. Like, she can sit in a corner and be perfectly content. And that's just, I can do that, but I just prefer not to when I'm surrounded by people I love. And my son, the older one, tends to take a little bit of his mom. He can be a little reserved. He's kind of shy. And when you're around friends and family and other people who are considered family, they love the kids and they want to hug on the kids and love on the kids. And Christian, honestly, the older one, is just shy. And he'll ask for a hug and he'll put his hands in his pocket and kind of lean in with a little shoulder, but he's not wrapping his arms around anybody that he doesn't know. As a matter of fact, my wife and I are probably the only two people I've ever seen him really give a hug. Not his grandmother, not his aunt, not his nobody. Just and his brother, he does. It's his personality. Now the little one, 2 years old, anyone who asked for a hug or got one. Open arms, went in, dug, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Oh, I needed that hug. Oh," and you could just see the energy of people, like, kind of like, "Oh, I want a hug." But he just literally goes in, not shy at all, and hugs everybody. Not only that, another thing I noticed, as he's in daycare, he's around other people. We're fairly social people, so he's met and been introduced to a lot of people. So it's not like he's standoffish at all. But the other thing is, he would go up to just about anybody in this environment where we were on Thanksgiving, and again, about 40 people that all one way or another knew each other, right? We were all connected at some level. That's why we're together. And he would just walk up to men and women, didn't matter. And if he was like, "Hey, I need a hug," he would just lift his hands up and people would pick him up and be like, "This is the coolest little guy." And I was like, "Yeah, he's not shy." I said, "And he doesn't have a lot of fear. As long as mom and dad are around, or he feels comfortable, he's going to sit there and he's going to love on you." And it's just really cool to see, because I don't know about you guys. I don't know jack about parenting. I'm just glad that my kids are social. Christian can be social. Jaden is much more social at this point, but he's 2, right? He doesn't have any life experience. So he's figuring it out as he goes. But I love that even Christian at that age would go to just about anybody. As a parent, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what if he goes to a perfect stranger?" He's done that. The thing is, mom and dad are always around. So don't worry about him going to anybody that, you know, as long as we're in close proximity. When we actually visited St. Augustine, Florida, and there was a gentleman that was over by, there's an old fort there, an old fortress on the right on the shore there, and we're going around it, and he literally went up to some guy, looked up at him, and was like, he grabbed his leg, he hugged him, and he like, hey, pick me up. And the guy did, and he's like, I don't know this, is he with us? And I was like, no, he's with us. And he kind of laughed, like, you okay with this? Well, you seem friendly enough, and he's a kid, and I'm right here, so it's not like you're running off with my kid. So the power of a hug and the smile that it puts on people's face, and the energy of the innocence of a child that creates a dynamic for people that just, you can't help but smile and laugh. And it brings me joy to watch my child, oftentimes my children, bring joy to other people. It was an amazing trip, and I'm going to end on this thought. There's one individual, one of the hosts, it's Peter and Maria and Pete, that hosted this. And these are friends of ours for years and years and years, and they've only interacted with Jaden on a handful of times because he's only 2, and they live in South Florida, we live in Georgia. So I want to say they've seen him 4, maybe 5 times. And the last time we saw them was probably about 6 months ago. They were driving through Georgia. They stopped by the house. They had dinner, and, you know, he wasn't even 2 yet. And he went right to Peter and was like, pick me up. And he's taken a liking to Peter, which is kind of cool because Peter's an amazing person. But as soon as he saw Peter again, not that he remembered his name, but he reintroduced himself and was like, hey, you're my buddy. And at the end of the trip, it was a fairly early morning. We were all packing up. We went to go see Pete and Marie over at their house. And I said, and Peter said, Jaden, bye-bye. And he kind of leaned in for a hug, and he says, bye-bye, Peter, unprompted. Peter goes, I don't even care about the whole trip. That just made my entire trip. I was like, dude, that just made my entire trip, to watch him show affection, genuine affection, and of all people to remember, he remembers your name, unprompted. Bye-bye, Peter. Kids are amazing. Don't underestimate them. Socialize them. And watch them blossom and bloom. We'll see you in the next episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.